as you can gather, I don't even know if we've got a fire alarm in this building. I haven't got anything else. Right. Fire assembly point. Right. If it kicks off, I'll probably jump out the window. It's probably safer. Right. Fire exit. Straight out there, down them stairs. There's a sign there saying fire exit, and we meet over the road. Right. Firefighting equipment and first aid and accident book. It's all behind the office bit. All the people responsible for this building are behind the black screens there. Any problems, see them. If it's a query about information in the course, see me. I'm here to deliver that. Toilets. Some of you have been down there already. You've got towards the black screens, follow it round to the left. You pass the canteen, that little 3 foot square room where you can get teas and coffees and things. The next couple of rooms are the toilets. Now look, we haven't got a female toilet, so you just have to sit there with your foot against the door. I'm joking. Alright, I think there's one there somewhere. Clearly, I've never been in it. Equal opportunities, what does this mean? Discrimination. That's kind of diversity. Alright, equal opportunities, you have vision problems, hearing problems, disabilities, okay, everyone gets the same bite of the cherry. Okay. Diversity, what's that mean, Brad? No discrimination. No discrimination. We used to call it race relations. Yeah. The way I sum this up is, my mum used to say, she's not with us anymore, but she always said to me, from me being this big, alright, if people are nice to you, be nice to them. If they're not, leave them alone. Okay? Let them do their own thing and stay away from them. Right. Can't exactly do that. I like to say, what's said in this room stays in this room, as long as we're not offending anybody. I don't care where you're from, alright? Whether you're from south of England, alright, you drink shandy and all that lot. Okay? Not like those proper northerners, alright, who drink real beer. Or you're from overseas, I don't care. Well, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. Yeah? Respect everybody. Plus, if anyone has got problems, I'll probably have paperwork to fill in. I've got enough to do this weekend. So, if anyone has got any problems, by the way, oh, so-and-so said this, I didn't like it, just come and tell me. Okay? And then we hoof them out. Right, mobile phones, hang on. Yeah, I'm on silent. I only have one rule with phones. Have them on silent, please. If they ring, you have to answer it on loudspeaker. Excellent, you've been warned. Right. Smoke and alcohol free. Alcohol free, do what you want after 4 today. Alcohol free throughout the day being very advantageous. We're already struggling for books. If you're drinking at the same time, I don't know, it might improve. Right, smokers. I've seen a few of you having your cheeky cigarettes rushing to get in. Nowhere allows you to smoke indoors, it's outside, please. Breaks and lunch, I'll wrap it on for about no more than 90 minutes. Okay? I need to get through lots of information, people. So I'll wrap it on 90 minutes and I'll save 10 minutes. Okay? I can't afford to wait for you. If you fancy walking up the shop in a break and it's taking you 20 minutes, I'll have already started. If I say break at... No. Perfect. Go sit down. No. If I say break at 11:30, I'm starting at 11:40. I'll start at 11:40. Okay? If you're not in, tough. It's fair enough. But you've also got to bear in mind, if you get this all the time, sorry I'm late. 4 or 5 coming back in, that's now going to be interrupting things. Okay? So it's not fair on everybody else. Right. This is what we're going to hopefully get through today. We've done that. Yeah, we'll talk about accidents. We'll talk about the law, the purple section in the book. Okay? Health and Safety at Work Act and supporting regulations such as Management of Health and Safety at Work, CDM, RIDDOR, and First Aid. Anyone heard of these? Some might have, some might not have. Alright, it's my job to give you the information. This is what you've got to do. Full attendance. I only ran one of these yesterday. Well, Thursday and Friday. 7 people, one didn't turn up for the second day. Never happened before. But his mate said he was told on Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock, you're doing your supervisor's ticket tomorrow. And he went, oh, right, okay. So he turned up for the Thursday, went sick the Friday. Right, so full attendance. If you turn up at 1 o'clock tomorrow lunchtime, I'll go, really sorry, it was too much information. Right, I won't allow you in. If you are late, I kind of have a cut-off point. Alright? Tomorrow morning, you're all aware it's a 9 AM start, not 10. Yeah? Is anyone not aware?
No one told us.
They told us about 8 o'clock.
Listen, what I normally say to a group, but it has to be a collective decision. If you want to start earlier tomorrow, I'll start as early as one. I've got a key to get in. We can start as early as you like. However, are you staying over? You're driving. You're driving from. You don't want to start at 6 or anything like that. No. You get a sleeping bag and stay there. All right. So 9 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So 2 days. Performance in the key exercises. I'll get you to talk about risk assessments later on. Okay. A multi-format paper. Okay. Just means they're going to ask you questions in different ways. Majority of them, you have 22, okay? 22 that are multiple choice, multiple guess. Right? You have a question, you have 4 possible answers, A, B, C, D. That gives you 1 mark each, gives you 22. You then have to, within those 22, there's 4 what we call safety critical. This means that you must answer these correctly. If you get full marks, -1, and the one you get wrong is one of these safety critical questions, it means you don't pass that paper. There's other things you can do, but hopefully we won't come to that. So that's the 22. Then you get 3 what we call open worded. Okay? You might need 1, 2 or 3 words or a sentence to answer it. They might ask for more than 1 answer. There might be 1, 2 or 3 points available. Okay? They make a total of 8 marks, these 3 open worded questions. Combined with the 22, that gives you a total mark of 30. You need to get 24. Okay. Minimum 24 marks, any 24, as long as you answer the 4 safety critical correct. You understand that bit? Does anybody know? You alright? Okay. Right, why are you doing this? It's to ensure delegates have an overview. An overview. You are not going to know everything in this book. Okay. There's, last count, 300 odd pages. Citb stipulation needs to be here for a set amount of time each day. Even if we're here for that time, it is going to be difficult to get through all the materials on every page. I'd like to focus on areas that will help you with the quiz and what's really important outside. Okay. Now, if I was somewhere else, I'd be saying, "Look, the books are yours. Apparently, you get an electronic copy." So that's for them to sort out. It's an issue between them and Citb and candidates. All right. The idea is you should have the book to keep or electronic copy, whatever. Right? You should have that information. You can always refer back to it then once you leave here successful. It gives you an overview. You're not expected to know everything. It's for you to then have this overview and go out into the construction industry and work on that and develop your skills in health and safety. Because you're not here, this supervisor's course, you are supervising the health and safety. You're not you don't come here to learn how to recruit or to fire people. Alright? You don't come here to learn about how to calculate the pay for your workers or things like that. You are here to learn how to supervise the health and safety for yourself and your workers and anyone else in your company that's working on your construction site. Right? That's the difference. Right. So, ensure that you'll be able to understand how health and safety law is structured, how your supervisory role fits into the management, identify the risk assessment process, and understand the need for method statements. If you don't know what I'm talking about, hopefully you do, you're all in the construction industry. Recognise the importance of inductions, toolbox talks, and task briefings. Identify the differences between proactive and reactive monitoring. All sounds a bit foreign now to everybody. Demonstrate improved communication techniques through delivery of a toolbox talk or a task brief. So guess what you're going to do tomorrow? Yeah, a little brief, task brief. Okay? And I'll tell you how it'll go. Alright? I've got certain criteria to look at. One of them is, it is engaging. It is interesting. Okay. What I've had before. Morning. I'm going to talk to you today. Okay, thank you. Sit down. I've had some people, foreign nationals, going, I'll be with you in a minute. What's the word? Translate. And it's stop, start, all the way through. I've had some people go, there's a toolbox talk you can have a look at and just read it from that. I've had some people stand up and come to the front, right, and get everyone involved and just talk for like 5 minutes straight and be really entertaining. Okay. The idea is behind this is that you can demonstrate improved communication. You might have to go back to work as a supervisor, the site manager will go, you need to give them a briefing on what they're doing today. That's what you're going to be doing in terms of health and safety. So before the end of today, you'll be picking a subject, anything to do with work, health and safety related, that you are going to deliver to everybody else tomorrow. Okay. I'll make it easy. You can stay where you are. If you want to come to the front, come to the front. Okay. I know I make it look easy standing in front of people talking. Alright? If I said to you, any one of you come to the front now, people are going, oh, okay. And you might stand up tomorrow and go, Alright, it can be a bit nerve-wracking. Bear in mind, you're going to have to do it when you go back to work. Okay? Now, some people find it easier in front of a group of strangers. Because when they go back to work, they know their supervisor and they go, I can't talk to this stuff like that. I'm going to get ripped to pieces. Okay? Right. So, that's what we're going to be doing. Over 2 days, there's a lot to squeeze in. Okay? Right, I will keep going as much as I can today, and I will see people generally around about the 3:30 to 4:30 mark, kind of. Okay? And if I'm asking questions and people are looking at me, you all look alert at the minute. Most of you, cool for school. Right. Later on, I'll be talking to some people and they'll be like, I can see his mouth moving, I'm not understanding the words he's saying. Okay, and I'll notice it. Look how you're all sitting at the minute. Alright. Come lunchtime, some of you might be like, slumped down and tired. This isn't normal, alright? This is a really enclosed environment. It's a classroom, if you want to call it that. You're normally out on site doing things. Right? Plus it's a weekend, you've been working hard all week. Okay? It is not normal. You will be getting tired in it. We'll have that on cool, we'll have that open. It doesn't get too noisy, we'll keep the air going. We'll have breaks. Right, let's get on with it. I need to know how much I've got to go into all this lot. So you're going to get this quiz first. It's called a What Do You Know? I'm testing what you know so far. Sorry, I'm quizzing what you know so far. Take one and pass one round. I'll explain in a second. Don't fill anything in just yet. Please. Anyone heard that? Yeah. It's alright, I'll look at it. It's common sense, I know what I'm doing. Do you know what to say about common sense?
It's not that common.
So, it's not common, and it's not sense. Right. These were actual pictures taken of people on a building site. Now, some of you might be looking at these and going, right, what's the problem?
Yeah, the man, yeah.
One on the left?
Yeah.
Sounds not great, is it?
What's the word that no party?
Actual pictures that people saw in the workplace.
So that's a can-do attitude.
It's crazy, isn't it? What some people do. You see the ones with like a forklift, lifting a forklift up, and then the forklift's lifting ladders up, and there's people at the top of them. The worst thing I saw, I went to a job and I saw it and I was like, I'm good, alright, I'm leaving. Alright. It was downside of a wall, there was like skylights, alright, just at the top. And the owner said, I want them bricked up. Okay, we're doing something else inside, I want it bricked up. Okay. So there was a builder there, yeah, brick it, but I don't know if he was qualified. They'd open this door like that. Okay. His mate was standing here, holding the door so he could go that way. He'd got pallets there and a scaffold board going from the top on there, and he was standing on the scaffold board and kneeling on it to put the bricks in. And his mate, that was holding the door like this, so the scaffold board didn't move, was passing in bricks up. Like this. I've seen a lot worse. Right, anyway. Let's talk about this. Health and Safety at Work Act. Now I'm going to talk about law in the UK, so wherever you're from, even if you're from the UK, you might not know this. This is a structure of how the law is in the UK. Health and Safety at Work Act. What does Act mean? It is an act of law. So an act of Parliament. So it means it's Parliament, it's the government in the UK that make up these laws. These are laws of the land. The rules, yeah, go follow them. They are state law. It's the government that makes them up, otherwise known as criminal law. Any laws, anyone been arrested? Yeah? Right. And they take you in, they take you in and they go, we're charging you on suspicion of this, that and the other offence under Police and Criminal Evidence Act. That's another law. Different sections of it. So, it's made up by government. It's criminal. Yeah, it's criminal law. In the UK, we've got criminal law and civil law. Criminal law is the law that the government makes up. Health and Safety Work Act is the law that's made up to cover workplaces in the UK. All workplaces. Right? If you don't follow what this law tells you to do, you are committing a criminal offence. So if you don't employ health and safety or follow what's in parts of the Act of the Health and Safety Work Act, you are committing a criminal offence. That could be your company, it could be you as an individual, it could be employer or employee. Where are you now in the chain of your company? Well, you're part of the employer chain. You're employed, you are the bridge between managers on site and workers. Okay? So, I'm going to tell you what's in this Act. Where do we find this displayed everywhere? Where do you find the duties that are in the Health and Safety Work Act? Notice boards? Yeah, what might you see on notice boards? Health and Safety Law poster. Years ago it used to be a big black and white thing. Italics, fancy writing. And you'd read it and you go, don't even understand that word, I'll leave it. And then, people didn't read it, we put it everywhere. You walk into the toilet, obviously not you, Alan, and they put the poster there above your urinals. So you'd have to read them even when you go in the toilet. And we still didn't read it. Now what they do, has anyone been on site where they give you little cards? And on that card, what's it got? Information of what the duties are of employers and employees under the Health and Safety Work Act. So you sign to go, yeah, I've done my induction. Yeah, I've got that card. So if something, an offence is committed later on, you go, oh, I didn't know. I go, hang on a minute. Yeah, you did your induction, you received that little card, didn't you? It tells you on that card what the duties of employers and employees are. Right. This is what employers have got to do for employees. They must give you a safe workplace. Into that safe workplace, they must give you safe in and out. We call it access and egress, entry and exit. They must provide you with safe tools and equipment. They must provide safe use, storage, transport and handling of materials, articles, substances. They must give you adequate information, instruction, training, and supervision. So, give you a safe workplace. Into that workplace, safe in and out. Give you safe too. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tell you what I'm going to do, alright? I'm going to put them on the floor, you lot can fight over it. Just as you see fit. Probably it's easier one between two there. And then,
How many you got on it?
we've got two there.
Two on it. We've got two now.
Two.
How many you got?
Two at the back. One. Like I said, people, any problems regarding this, any complaints, go see them down there. Right to whoever. Involve your MP if you want.
It's gonna be for us. It's gonna be for us after.
Okay, so this is what employees are going to do. You are now part of this employer chain. So you've got to make sure this is being carried out for your workers. Even though you're an employee, you are now made that step up. You're no longer a worker. No disrespect, workers are the best thing. Without workers, nothing's going to happen. Alright? So you're making that step up to supervise. What you've also got to remember, especially if you're doing it in-house for the same company, one of the hardest things to do is make that step up and then start supervising the people you recently worked with. It's much easier if you leave and get promoted with somewhere else. Right? Because when you're going, listen, make sure you've got the right IVs, make sure you're doing this, that, and the other, they'll turn around and go, hang on a minute, you were doing that last week, you weren't wearing it, and you have to go, yeah, I know, but I'm management. Okay, so you're happy with this? This is very brief. You can read this, it's very brief. Okay? Right. What's a safe workplace, anybody?
Workplace that relates to map of risks and hazards.
You've done this course before. I'll tell you what, I'll sit there, mate. Start talking. One that is, I'll say, free from hazards and risk, or one where, if hazards are present which create risk, is controlled to a good level. Yeah? That's what we call it. Right. Where does it tell us there to look for hazards? In fact, what's the process we call where we look for hazards? Risk assessment. Where does it tell us there to do a risk assessment? Doesn't.
Instruction.
Training.
Oh.
Doesn't. The Act doesn't tell you to carry out risk assessments. All it says is you must provide a safe workplace. Right. What does tell us to carry out risk assessments? The management of health and safety at work regulations. It's a big document. A number of regulations grouped together called the Management of Health and Safety at Work Regulations. I'll talk about them when I do risk assessments after a cup of tea. Now, notice I've put regulations in this umbrella of the law. What does that mean? They're part of it. Do you know how long it takes to make one of these up? An act? It could be months, if not years. It goes through a process through Parliament. So if we want to make changes to it, it could take forever. So what we do is we add in regulations. Regulations supplement it. They add, they tweak, they change different parts of the law.
Amendments, I think.
Like amendments. Yeah. So regulations help support different sections of the Act. It is all under the umbrella of the law. What I'm trying to say to you is if you have anything, you read anything at work that says Act or regulations, it means there's a legal responsibility on employers and employees. Okay? So, safe workplace, we do a risk assessment. That set of regulations. What about safe tools? Anyone heard of this? Pure. Anyone heard of it? Did you say yes or no? Yeah? Provision and use of work equipment regulations. Provision. You must provide safe tools, but in support of that, you've got to make sure they are electric, they're pat tested, they're inspected, they're maintained and serviced by competent people. This one also says, if I'm handing, I say to Eddie, do us a favour, move that teleampler for me, will you? There's the treat, you can't, why not? What? Listen, you're not in the job, just move it, will you? Alright, I'm not allowed to do that, because if he's not competent, and he crashes into the building, he knocks the scaffolding over, who's at fault? I am, because I haven't made sure he's competent, and that's part of pure. Okay? Again, responsibilities on the employer and employee. You can't ask any of your workers to do work they're not competent in doing. Okay. Sort of storage, COSH, control of substances hazardous to health regulations, transport, handling, manual handling regulations. There are hundreds of these regulations. You won't walk out of here knowing all regulations. You might remember one, maybe two. The point you need to know, think of this umbrella. There's an act and there's supporting regulations. Okay? If you need to know anything about health and safety when you go back to work, get on a computer or get on your phone, go to the HSE's website, hse.gov.uk, put in an activity, excavations, and it'll bring up a list of regulations that apply. Have a look at them and it'll say, duties of the employer, duties of employees, and you make sure you are following this. If you do that, you'll be compliant with the law.
Is it the same thing if you're self-employed? Because I think most of us
No, same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing for everybody. Yeah. Okay. Do you know what employees have got to do? You don't need to write it down.
Carry it out as the instructor.
You've got to cooperate. They've got to carry things out as they're being instructed. Right? They can't put themselves in danger. Or anybody else. Use equipment as trained and instructed, as by manufacturer's instructions. And report anything they think is unsafe. Everybody has a responsibility to report things that are unsafe in the workplace. Okay. Right. What I want you to consider quickly before we have a cup of tea. Right, who's not been in construction very long? So you've all been in years and years. Is that what you're telling me? Right, who's below 25?
Oh,
Right.
age. Or...
I can guess it might only be me that's got more than 25 years in construction.
No, I'm not.
How old are you?
26.
Oh, I'll pick you. Right. Brad is the employee. Okay, who's been in a while? Who's been in 15 years plus? 15. So just pay you. Great. Yeah. Employer, bossman. Okay. This is, do you know what PAYE is?
Yeah.
You work for the company, you're not self-employed, you're not agency, you are PAYE. So, Brad works for Greg. Greg comes in one morning, he said, Brad, I've got a lovely job for you. I want to use this petrol cut-off saw to cut all these concrete blocks. Fantastic, cheers, Gary. Alright. Quickly, talk with the people next to you. What are the responsibilities, bearing in mind what I just talked about, of Greg the employer, Brad the employee. Right. Just a minute talking about it, I'll come back, really you can tell me that.
competent.
Make sure you're competent. Right. How does it make sure you're competent? It gives you information, instruction, training, supervision. Right. What's competency? Okay. Right. Hang on. Right. It's not all study with me. We're going to play a little game. Does anyone know how to play hangman? Yeah. Right. Citb suggests this is what makes people competent. Right. If you don't know what hangman is, if you've never played this as a kid, you've missed out. Right. These are letters that start words. Okay. These are 5 qualities that Citb suggests makes a person competent. So the idea is you call out individually what you think the words are beginning with these letters. If it's right, I write the word, and if it's wrong, I start building a gallows to hang the man. If I get hangman, we're here till 8 o'clock tonight. Alright?
That's all you can.
Safety.
Skills.
So, whoa, hang on, right. So, safety.
Skills.
Skills.
Knowledge.
Who said that? What's your name in the back?
Levy.
Levy. Thanks, mate. Good luck.
Training.
Experience.
Attitude.
Education.
Attitude. Yeah. You done this before? You haven't? Yeah. Right. Because you got it, you got a bonus. You're not here till 8 o'clock, you're only here till 7. Right. Skills, knowledge, attitude, training and experience. The important one out of that is attitude. Because that's how you apply all the others. Okay? So Brad might come in and go, you know what you're doing that? Ah, brilliant. Dragging the sword across the floor. Alright, kicking the blocks over. Alright? So you make sure the attitude's right. So we've got to give him, to make this person, to give him the skills, alright, the training, knowledge. We give him the information. We give him instruction. We train him up. Okay? Supervise initially to make sure he's okay. Then he gets the experience. So that's what makes him competent. What else? We'll stick with this side.
PPE.
PPE. So I'll provide PPE. How much do you charge for PPE?
How much?
Yeah.
0.
Free. What type of PPE do we provide?
What's this?
So it's relative to the job. So how do we determine that?
Risk assessment.
Risk assessment. You say Google. What PPE do we? Risk assessment. Yeah. So it's free. You know, I meet loads of different people, and sometimes I have such a giggle. The course I had 2 days ago, a different provider, they give you a sheet, all right, and it says, write your name down one side, initial, put your initials for in and out every day. And every one of them wrote in, out. For every day. In, out, in, out. Anyway, what else have we got? What's the employer? What else has Greg got to do for Brad? Tools. Tools? What is that?
Inspect the tools.
Alright, well he's got to provide initially safe tools, safe kit, fine. What else?
Method statement.
Method statement. I'll tell you what I'm going to write over here. Safe system of work. Why? Because in a safe system of work, what we have is risk assessment. What's a risk assessment do?
Assessing the risks.
Right, so what course are we doing today? What we're doing is, we're going to play around with Martin and just reverse everything that Martin says he did in class, yeah? What's health and safety? Well, it's your health and it's your safety. Right, risk assessment, assess risk. Right, you're not the first person to say that. Right, what we do first is, we look for hazards. We're going to cover risk assessment process after break. We look for hazards. What do we do with the hazards? We calculate the risk. What do we do with it? Control it. Right, what hazards have we got with this job?
Light.
Alright, blade.
Dust.
Noise.
Debris. Yeah. More dust.
Noise.
Noise.
Petrol.
Alright, so with petrol, we've got
Vibration.
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 fumes, fire. I'll put kosh because if it gets on your skin it can be an irritant. Who said vibration? Yeah. And then heavy blocks,
Yeah, I was about to say lift.
manual handling. Quite a few there,
That's
isn't
why
there?
cutting them off the graph is heavy.
Huh?
Cutting them off the graph is heavy.
Getting him lots of work in it. Right,
Price, yeah.
so what we do with these is we evaluate, we calculate the risk. Okay? If the risk is high or at an unacceptable level, we have to put controls in place. How can we, what's the best form of risk control? Do you know?
Not the.
Prevention.
Get rid of it. Yeah? Eliminate it. Eliminate all these hazards. Okay? So the best form is eliminate. Okay. How can I eliminate this?
Can reduce.
Control it.
You can.
We control what PPE.
Ben, I was going to say damn that. Right. Say it again, out loud. Buy it pre-cut. So, Saturday, I'm going to make a quick call. Right? Hello. Can I have 400 blocks cut to these measurements for Monday? What's he going to say to me?
Nice.
Yeah, alright, who's this? Prank call. Yeah? Why is he going to say no? Costs. It's going to cost a bit more to have pre-cut to different measurements. Alright, so I'll put cost. Yeah? What else?
Time.
Yeah, you can have it in a couple of weeks. I need it for Monday. Well, you should have phoned me 3 weeks ago. You say time. So these might be reasons why I don't eliminate it. And the law is quite fair. It says you don't have to eliminate every hazard. Can you imagine if companies had to eliminate every hazard? They wouldn't be working, they'd be out of business. So the law's quite fair, it says you don't have to eliminate everything. Certain things you do, but you don't have to eliminate the majority of hazards. What you have to do is control them to a particular level. And that level, which we'll cover later on, is called reasonably practicable. It's weighing up the costs in terms of things like time, money and effort against how much you're reducing the risk. I'll come on to it later on. So, I'm not going to eliminate it. So what I might do is control it. So let's, for example, say dust. How can I control dust? Right. So what we'll say first is water. Then I might say mask. Anything else?
Like a vacuum.
What do they call it now?
Q
Q extract something.
Something like that, yeah. Extraction.
Right. I'm going to put vacuum.
Yeah.
Right. We'll have a vac on there. I might even cordon off the area. All right. Right. I've just put down the list of controls in an order. They are called my method statement. Okay. You've heard of RAMS, risk assessment, method statement. So one is identifying the hazards, the associated risks. The method statement is how you're controlling it and what tools you're using, in what order, in the safest way, in order to control that risk that we can't get rid of. Okay? Right. Then it's the employer's job to do this for every activity. So if you're asking your lads and lasses, yeah, I've got this job to do today. It's supposed to be risk assessed. If it's not risk assessed, you shouldn't be asking them to do it. Right, you've been workers. Anyone ever signed a risk assessment? Yeah? Has anyone ever signed it without reading? Yeah. I was going to say, people say no, you're all lying.
Yeah.
A lot of companies when you go in.
Don't have that much time to read
Right.
because you got
Yeah,
to
risk
keep
assessment.
things at the same time. There's a risk assessment. Yeah.
So what's in this? It's telling you what's a bit naughty about this job and what's going to hurt you. It's also telling you how to stay safe. If they're saying sign it, what are you signing for?
To say that you're taking on the responsibility.
It's to say that you've read, understood the dangers and how to keep safe. If you haven't and you've signed it, something goes wrong, what's that employer going to do?
It's your problem.
So, when you give this information, when you all do a fantastic brief tomorrow, you make sure you give information like this out. This is why you need to do it. So, I might say, I'll pick it up here. I might say, oh, you can have it back. What's your name? Adrian. Right. Adrian, there you go, there's your raps for today. 300 pages. Right. Make sure you understand it before you sign. You don't sign it because what?
I don't write that page, you know. And those are not.
I have to read it first.
I thought after reading.
Yeah, right. So I'll read it.
See you tomorrow.
Tomorrow, that's only about a week. Right, that's not very productive, is it? Okay. What you don't want is that. What you also don't want is going, yeah, all right, boss, where? There, boss. Because he's not sure of it. So, this is where you come in. This is where you can sit down and go, look, the bread and butter, what's in there, the important bits are this. This is the job we've got to do today. This is the hazard that we've come across. We put the risk at this level, all right? What we need to do, make sure you do in order to stay safe, yeah, we reduce that risk by putting these controls in place. Yeah, you check that they're trained to follow these. Happy with that? And if he is, oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I'll sign it. There's nothing wrong with you conveying that information to the individual or the group, so they can then go, yeah, I understand. That's your brief on the morning. Okay? You want to make sure that you're protected and they're protected. Right. You've been really busy at the minute, Greg, haven't you? Oh, Brad is. I was going to say something. Sitting there doing nothing, shall we say? Twiddling his thumbs, that's not polite. So, what's Brad got to do? Cooperate. Cooperate. So pretty much any arrows that are going that way, he's got to do this way. So, if we're making him competent by giving him information about the job, he understands it. We're giving him instructions, telling him what to do, all in the document. We've trained him up, yeah. Supervisor, we've made him competent. He's got to carry out the job as per that training and that competency. What about PPE? You've got to wear it as it's designed.
Yeah.
All right. Ear defenders, don't keep your neck warm. All right. Safety goggles, yeah. Don't rest on top of your eyebrow. Good. He's got to wear them as they're supposed to be worn, when he's supposed to wear it. What if he's got a problem with his PPE? Stops what he's doing, goes back to it. What if he loses it or it's broken?
Replace it for a charge.
But he has to go back to Greg first, the employer, and go, it's knackered. And then he has to replace it again free of charge. He has to look after it. And this is where as supervisors, I had an SSSTS refresher course Monday, Tuesday. What they don't like is the fact that supervisors are getting more educated, that the workers are getting more educated on the one-day course. The workers now know the employer is going to provide PPE free of charge. And what they're doing is going, oh yeah, these £8 gloves, yeah, this way, throw them away, I need more gloves. Now that's costing the company a lot of money. How do you get round that as the company or the supervisors as part of the employment chain? Right. Easier than that. Right. There's a set of regulations under PPE that says employees will look after their PPE. Right? You will cooperate with the employer. If they're not cooperating, if they are not looking after PPE, they are breaking health and safety law. This is why you can say, listen, if you throw it down again, you're damaging PPE. Get rid of it. You'll soon find that they'll go, right, pick it up. Right? If the gloves are worthless after 2 or 3 days, you still have to give gloves. That's because you're buying cheap gloves. Right? But if they're recklessly just abandoning it, leaving it, then you can get upset. You're not complying with the law. Right? Health and safety laws and the regulations regarding PPE say you must look after them. It's only fair, isn't it? It's a bit unfair if the company have to keep shelling out £2 or £3 a week on gloves for 100 individuals. A lot of money, that. Right, safe tools. What's he got to do with the tools? Inspect, yeah. Check them, daily checks. Report any problems. Use as they're supposed to be used. A lot of accidents occur when we go, I can't really be bothered going to get the right tool. I'll use this in a roundabout way. I'll fashion something like this tool, alright, rather than, oh, I have to go down there. I know it's only one flight, but, oh, my van's 10 minutes away, can't be bothered. That's when accidents happen. Right, so you've got to use it as it's directed. Again, like PP, you've got to report any problems. Let's say he gets this saw, hang on, that blade don't look right, that's not the one to cut concrete. Stop what you're doing, go back to see Greg, need the blade changing, the tool's not right. And what's he got to do with this safe system of work?
Read it, follow it.
Read it, understand it, follow it. If you cannot follow it, you've got to stop. And this is what you've got to tell your people. If there's any problem with the risk assessment, method statement, stop what you're doing, come and find me. Yeah. I'll be out there, I'll have a look at it, and we'll talk about what we're going to do about things. Yeah? Right. Everyone alright with that? Okay. I'll make it 12 o'clock. Perfect timing. We'll have 10 minutes. We won't have lunch just yet. We'll have 10 minutes, then we'll do another hour and a bit, and then we'll have lunch. Alright? Anybody hungry? I'll tell you what, we'll have lunch now, yeah, and then we'll do. So this is the one that says employers have got to carry out risk assessments. So, every employer, don't worry about these numbers, alright? You just need to be aware of that UK law setup, the Act and then supporting regulations. And this is the bit of law that says employers have got to carry out risk assessments. You must have a risk assessment done for all work. Okay? Worst thing is, Sebastian, you're not the last. Right, another one. Control risks of hierarchy. I'll talk about that in a second. Every employer has got to manage, monitor, coordinate, review the controls. We have health surveillance. When I talked about health and safety, if you have come on then. If you're exposing people to a health risk, that's fine, expose them to it, but it must be controlled. And if it is controlled, if it's a health risk, you must employ health surveillance. Do you know what this is? That's what making a noise up, right? What's health surveillance? It's where we keep a check on people's health. So if, for example, we have people doing a lot of dust work, cutting, but we put controls in place, what we might do is give them a breathing test or a lung function test once a year. Okay? If this health surveillance throws up problems with people's health, with the chest, what's that tell you about your control measures? They're not good enough, they're not working. If, however, you get no issues, it tells you that your control measures are working. Okay, you've got to appoint competent persons to give health and safety assistance. Do you know what qualification you need to carry out a risk assessment? No, you just need to be competent. Right, don't worry about the next bit. I'm going to go to this one. Right. You must take into consideration pregnant workers. See on? Yeah. And we must take into consideration a separate risk assessment for young persons. Okay. How old do you need to be to work in the UK? 16. 16. It's when you get your national insurance card. Yeah. How old before you're an adult? 18. Unbelievable. Yeah. All right. 16 and 17-year-olds, therefore, are considered young persons, and they have a lot of regulations, all right, protecting them. Why do we need separate risk assessments done for young persons? More risk? Do you cost? Yeah.
I have experience.
Yeah, they do this. Do you know there's actually a new condition coming out called text neck? Seriously?
Really?
Text neck. People like that one there. Yeah, they start getting pains in the neck and out through the shoulders. My brother lives in Australia. I've been lucky enough to go there a few times. And in certain parts of Australia, they've now got red and green lights in the curbs, approaching roads. Major crossing points. Alright, so you've got red light, stop, green, okay, go. Has anyone seen Wall-E? Pixar film.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, we get them like that. Just get far too lazy. Anyway, these young people, they don't like being told what to do. And not every one of them, some of them are really good workers. But generally, the big thing is, it's not that they don't like authority. They're not used to getting up regularly at a certain time and working for until 5 o'clock. They're like sleeping, aren't they? You've got to give them regular breaks. Okay? You've got to have lots and lots of supervision. It's normally like a mentoring system that you have. You stick them with someone, an adult who's going to stay with them and train them up and supervise at the same time. Okay. Right. So, risk. I'll come on to what risk is. But this is why we do risk assessments. Reduces injury and ill health. Well, if we're looking for hazards, calculating the risk, putting controls in, we're going to reduce both injuries and ill health. Reduction in lost time. You don't need to write any of this down. This is just background info as to why we have them. Reduction in claims. Okay? Because if I talked about the law so far, it's just criminal law, it's the state law. If people get injured, it's not their fault. There's lots of these companies now in the UK saying, injured, not your fault, we'll give you some money. Okay? That is civil law. That is between two individuals. Okay? Nothing to do with the government. If you put so many claims in, it's a bit like motor insurance. Well, even if you don't put claims in, your motor insurance rockets anyway, doesn't it? So, if you don't have any incidents, you don't have claims. Okay? If you don't have claims, your insurance premium won't go up as much, I'll say. Reduction. Improve employee morale. Okay. A lot of companies get high turnover of staff. Accidents left, right and centre, you get people going, not happy working here, I'm going to go work next door where it's safer. If it is nice and safe, you get happier staff. Happier staff means low turnover, it means you get stability throughout your company. Because what happens, someone goes sick, someone's injured, you're now left a person down, what do you have to do? Well, you have to work harder, or you get them from where? Agency. How much more do you pay for agency staff? Nearly double. And they don't see it, the agency gets it, alright, but you have to pay more for agency staff. Okay? They might be trained up, they might not be. But you have to spend time training them up. This is causing delays in the job. If it causes too many, you then go beyond their finish time. You then get penalised as a company. If the penalties are so great, shareholders don't like losing money for that, so then, we'll get rid of people. Could end up with losing work. You get more efficient processes, more productivity, customer satisfaction, prestige. What it means is, listen, if you're pleased with your customers all the time, they tell everybody else. You get more work. More work equals what? This is the big one. It's the law. I just showed you the slide about management of health and safety work regulations. It supports the Act. And it tells us you will do risk assessments. Right. Little drill for you. Just been on the phone to the wife. I've certain times I have to check in so she knows where I am. I'm going to tell you how I met the wife. Blind date. Right, 6 of us went out. 3 men, 3 women, went out, pizza, a few beers, got on really well. So we met on a blind date. And things got really well, progressed really well, moved in. We were married inside 18 months, still together 17 years later. Happily married. Right. When I first moved in, I was really hungry one day and I went, I'm going to have a chip butty. Do you know what a chip butty is? Yeah? It's down south, they'll call it something ridiculous. Alright? I don't know what you call it down south. In the north of England, you call it a chip butty. Bread, chips, bread. Right? And I make these chips homemade, like my mum showed me how to make them. Right. Peel the potatoes. Okay? Slice them, turn them over, slice them. Put the chips in a pan of lard, animal fat. Not this fancy oil, it's got to be lard. And that's how you do proper chips. So, I'm doing this. She said, "Oh, give us a bite of your sandwich." I went, "Oh, I thought you were hungry." "No, give us a bite of your sandwich." She said, she went, "Oh my God, these chips are so nice." So now I have to do the chips and nips. So one day I'll come in and I'll say pretty much, "Oh, I'm tired." And she'll go, "Why are you tired? All you do is go out, stand and talk to people. You lot work for a living." And I'll go, "I am, focusing, concentrating all the time." She'll go, "No, I'm tired. I'm going upstairs for a lie down. Can you get dinner up? I'll make good chips. Can you do the chips how you've done it before?" "Okay, I'll do that for you, darling." Right. So she kind of says, she leaves me to it. Right. Hold that thought, me having to do the chips. Right. Remember that question you had this morning? 2 terms near the bottom. What is this? Hazard. What was it? Remember? Anything that can cause harm. Yeah. What was risk? Likelihood of it happening. Right, the chance of it happening. So, it's a combination, is risk. Right, risk is basically this. What's another word for likelihood?
Chance.
Chance.
Chances are.
Do that. What's another word for consequence? That is this. Harm. So, what we could say is, hazard is anything that can cause harm. What risk is, it's a combination of what are the chances of that hazard causing me harm, combined with how much harm is it going to cause me. Okay? On your risk assessments at work, you might have likelihood, chance, possibility, probability. You might have harm, consequence, severity, damage, impact, outcome. Lots of different terms. It means the same. So what we have to do with every hazard, do you remember looking at that task this morning? Cutting the blocks. You identified the hazards, bless you. Identified the hazards. Dust, vibration, noise. Okay. What we then look at is, okay, well that's the hazard. What's the risk surrounding that? Alright. How likely is it that dust is going to cause me harm? Very likely. What level of harm is it going to cause me? A lot. It can kill me. So that means the risk is quite high. And the way we put this down on paper is normally like this. Increasing values on both sides. One could be likelihood, one could be harm. So we just said with dust, very likely to happen, so I'll give it a score of 5. The level of harm it might cause me, I'd give that a 5, because it could kill me. Multiply them together, gives me a score of 25. What do we want to do with risk? What did we say earlier on? What's the best way to control it? Get rid of it. That means there's no anything on there, we have a score of 0. There's no risk. Okay? But the law's quite fair. It says we don't have to eliminate everything. What we have to do is control it. Alright? So with dust, what did we do to control it? Right, water suppression. So that is bringing down, what's the chances of dust causing me harm? Massively reduced. Okay? Brings it down to about a 1. Okay? What level of harm is it going to cause me? Well, it'll still be that. What I might do is to put vacuum, dust mask, okay, to try and get down as low as possible. Okay? The harm is going to be the same, because if you still breathe dust in, it's still going to be fine in the long term. But putting all those measures in place, what we've done is now put that to there, that's still there, so we've now got a score of 5. That times that, 1 times 5 is now a score of 5. So this is just how you control the different hazards. So, now come back to, my wife's left the chips. Yeah? She's gone upstairs, she's gone for a kip. Right, so you're going to do the risk assessment for me. So, I'm left downstairs feeling sorry for myself, really tired. I've got a potato in one hand, I've got a knife in the other. This is your risk assessment, alright? What's the hazard?
Oh, you're actually.
The knife.
Knife. Why? Because the knife has got the potential to cause me harm. That is the hazard. Right, so we've got a knife there. What's the risk? Right, hang on. Risk is a combination. Like, what's the chances of the knife causing me harm? And what's the level of harm it's going to cause me? This is how you do the risk assessment. Okay. So, what's the chances of the knife cutting me? Quite high.
Depends how good of a chef you are.
Quite high. Why?
Okay, because you're holding in your bare hand with the knife. You've got a knife in your bare hand.
So what, Ellen? There was a lady on a course once and she went, it's going to be 5, very high. And I said, why? Because you're a man.
Yeah. Oh, you're
I said, if I'd have said that the other way around,
Yeah.
I might have been like, have a work.
You said you were still alive.
Yeah.
Alright then, go through the process. What value are you going to give it? 1 could be very low, 5 could be very high.
Do it for
Three.
3. Alright, what type of harm is it going to cause me? Alright, a cut. So where do you think? This could be nothing, that could be death.
4.
Amputation.
Amputation.
You could catch a wrist or something. couldn't you?
Yeah.
I'm going for it.
One.
I think I've got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. haven't I? Right, what are we saying?
One.
Two.
One.
One.
Alright, look. I won't go 1 or 2. Look, if ever a company's going 1 or a 2, which way do you think they're going to go?
One.
No, go for higher.
Yeah.
So, 2 times 3 gives me a risk of 6. Companies look at this and go, nah, 6, yeah, it's alright. Is there anything I can add in to make it safer? Do I need to? I need to show I'm controlling it using cost-effective measures. Now, the wife comes downstairs, she's gone, oh, God, I forgot. Just had a phone call. We've got 6 people coming around tonight for dinner. And I've gone, oh, there's another 4 potatoes. Hurry up, they're going to be here in 30 minutes. Right. What happens now?
Risk of chance to harm is going up, and the
Okay,
risk
so-
of harm is going up as well.
Alright.
No, I'd say the
So-
harm stays where it is. Sure.
Okay, but the risk goes
The
higher.
risk goes higher. The chance goes higher.
Where are we putting the chance, the likelihood?
Between 4 and 5.
You can't go between.
5.
Always.
Okay. And the harm staying the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might. Now we've got up to a 10. So it's 5 times 2, yeah? Right, some companies might go 10, that's kind of middle of the road. I want to put some controls in there. Right, what I want you to do now is consider what risk controls are you going to put in place, or control measures. Hang on, I'll come to you for this. What control measures are you going to put in place that's going to reduce the risk, either reduce the chances of it happening or the level of harm?
Order.
Order.
What?
Yeah. Order.
Change.
You're gonna get that special knife for
Are you not listening? The wife wants chips.
Yeah.
She has to have
Yes, I'm wolf.
Right,
Change it
so,
all.
alright, order chips. Oh, takeaway you mean, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, wait, gloves. Hang on. Right. Takeaway, gloves, anything else?
Get high
Change
wolf.
it all.
Change my tool to
Peeler.
peeler.
Get your wife involved in peeling potatoes.
Yeah.
Mrs. to do it.
Yeah, get the missus to do it.
Who said that? You married?
What?
Did you say that? No. No? Who said
I
that?
did. I did.
Yeah, are you married?
Not yet.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Anything else? Somebody else said something?
Asking the missus to do it has more risk on it.
No, help you out. Help you out, man.
Yeah,
That's
Mrs.
what-
Alright, get out. Anything else?
Don't peel potato.
By peeled potatoes.
Buy it peeled?
Just eat it.
Do you mean like
Without
orange chips,
cutting.
like oven chips?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just take what's happening.
Too much your chips though.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? None of you are wrong. You're all
You-
coming up. Nah. You're all coming up with control measures. Okay.
Just eat it without cutting.
Just eat.
Just eat.
Great idea, that, wasn't it? You know, it's now worth like something like £800 million a year, just eat. Simple idea. Right, let's go through this. Takeaway. Or get it delivered, or am I going down and get it? Where I live, there's a fish shop in the village. However, there's the pub, then there's the fish shop. Might mean that's the pub.
Yeah.
And if I'm really tired, I go, oh, just get on the case again. Hello, Mark. Hello, mate. You all right? What's up? Oh, come in, have a beer. It might be another couple of hours before I get back. So I might say, no,
This is a morning place now.
yeah, that's it. She's waiting for my suitcases at back. Gloves. What type of gloves?
The ones that fit the job.
Can't resist that. Ones that fit around.
Cut resistant gloves. We've all got them in the drawer at home, haven't we? So what I might have to do is then quickly Google cut resistant gloves. Oh, Screwfix might have some. I've got to get in the car, get down to Screwfix. Alright? That's going to take time. That's going to take money. Probably expensive. Alright? So I might say no to that. Peeler, what does that do? Not a trick question.
Less chances to cut
Yeah,
yourself.
it reduces the chance.
Doesn't cut the time.
Yeah,
Doesn't cut, it peels. I still have to use the knife. Alright, but it's reducing the time I'm using it. I might consider it, but I've still got to use the knife. No. She's busy upstairs getting herself looking.
Sleeping.
Get help from, well, it's only the missus. I'm not sure who else I know. No, neighbour. Coming up, you can't feel it better. So my neighbour's psychiatric nurse, Scottish, drunk. Every Friday, you know it's Friday because he's effing and blinding at his wife, bless her. She puts up with him and he's screaming and shouting in the house there. Right, oven chips. I've got the risk of getting burnt on the oven. I've got the time it takes to warm them up and then cook the chips. If I've got them in, if not, it's like the gloves again. I've got to go out and get them, spend a few quid, come back and then cook them, so I might not. Right, all things weighed up, cost versus reducing the risk. What I might consider is, alright, I might bring the chip in and get them delivered. Just bring a bag of chips round. I might, okay? Because what I'm thinking is, right, time, 30 minutes, there's people coming. Alright? Palm, if I'm rushing, I don't want to get cut right before they turn up, it might ruin the meal, etc. So when I weigh up things like time, effort, money, it's going to take me to control this, I might think getting some chips delivered is the best option. Alright, it's not the chips she wanted, and if I explain it to her, I might be alright. Okay. It might not be acceptable, but what it's showing is I have got a balance in between the costs of reducing the risk against how much I'm reducing the risk. Now, all you need to show when you're reducing the risk is this level reasonably practicable. And what that means is you have more reduction in risk than the costs of reducing the risk. Okay? So when you have things So when you have things like your costs, your time, your inconvenience, the money versus risk reduction, okay, like this, you want more risk reduction than you do costs. You want the balance this way. That shows to anybody you are reducing the risk to a level seen as reasonably practicable. And the law said that's all you have to, in the majority of hazards, that's all you have to control the risks to. That's the level at which you need to comply with the law, to a level seen as reasonably practicable. There's nothing written down to go, Yeah, well, when you're talking about working at height, you must do this, that, and the other to reduce it that much. There's no set guidelines. You just have to be able to argue to either your insurance company or the HSE the way you controlled that risk was reasonably practicable. What you're trying to say is, I reduced it using cost-effective measures. Yeah. Right. Let's see if there's any more background information I can give you. If you can see a book, to be aware of from. Right. Turn to page 15. This is just a recap. Right, tomorrow afternoon, when you get the quiz, it's important I tell you. Right, regarding these books, okay, apparently you should have or you are getting the electronic copies sent. Okay. These books are to stay here. If you have any issues with any of this, you see the people behind the screens. Yeah, it's not me. I just get paid to turn up and teach. Okay. It's much easier for me if you have a bookies that you can keep. Right. So any problems, go see the people behind the screens. Right. Right. Tomorrow afternoon, the reason you have books is Citb are quite fair. You get 30 minutes in which to do this quiz tomorrow. Okay. The first 20 minutes they are closed. The last 10 minutes you can look at the books. Okay. So there's plenty of information in there. Fortunately, they don't allow you to mark the books up, okay. Which is a bit unfair. So, areas of the book you might want to make notes of where the information is. If you look at page 15, left-hand side, can you see down the bottom in bold it talks about the Health and Safety at Work Act? So this is what I put, the Health and Safety at Work Act, in that umbrella at the start. Okay, why did I put it in first? You see that first sentence? It is the primary piece of health and safety legislation in the UK. Please remember that. It's the primary piece of legislation covering health and safety in the UK. Common questions. Okay. What's the primary piece of legislation covering UK work? Certain regulations, and they might throw in there Health and Safety Work Act. Multi-choice. Pick the Health and Safety Work Act to get it right. Then it talks about health and safety regulations. It is just following what I talked about, putting regulations still within that umbrella. On the next page, it gives you examples of the different regulations, a few. There's hundreds of regulations, people. The idea of this course isn't to understand every regulation, it's to understand that the regulations support the Act and they are in that umbrella of the law. Therefore, if you have a job to do, if there's regulations covering it, which there generally is, have a look at them. They support the Act, they tell you what you should be doing legally and what the workers should be doing legally. Yep. Top of page 17, it talks about approved codes of practice. What's an approved code of practice? Anybody know? You don't get asked about it. Did you know what they are? Right, what's a code of practice? Best guide. Best guidance of how to carry out work. There isn't an approved code of practice for every job. Only where there's a specialist, an expert that has written one. So it's experts that write it. Who approves it? Who polices health and safety? So the HSE approve them. Okay. So the HSE approve best methods of working for certain jobs. Okay. It's the safest way of carrying out whilst remaining legally compliant. Why did I not write them within that umbrella of the law? Because it's not law to follow them. However, if there's one written and you don't follow it and it goes wrong, what you must show is that the way you decided to carry out that work was as good as, if not better, than what's in the associated guide called the ACOP. So that's for when you go out into the real world. If there's an ACOP, follow it. If you don't follow it, you've got to be very, very good at what you do and be able to show that you're being compliant with the law. If you turn over the page 18, it talks about what is reasonably practicable. You see the bit in the middle, the bold bit next to AA? Reasonably practical means that risks involved in carrying out the work may be balanced against the costs in terms of money, inconvenience and time. Balancing out the costs against reducing the risk, what we've talked about already. And then the next few pages just talk about legal duties of employees and employees, which is what I put on the board first. Flick over to page 20. Enforcement of health and safety law. Okay, this is the HSE. Anyone here to the HSE? Health and Safety Executive? Don't blow it. Right. These HSE inspectors, very important people, very powerful people. Right. Has anyone been on site when they're on site? Yeah, what happens when they come on site?
Everyone shoots themselves.
Okay, everyone shoots themselves. Yeah, generally. You see managers jumping out of windows and I've got a meeting. Oh, disappear. Yeah, they come round and go, you lot, sit on your hands, don't move. Alright, just stay still while HSE fella walks round. Okay. Why? These people ultimately got the power to not only shut you down, take you to jail, right? Prosecute you in the courts, in criminal court, and then you can either get fined and or sent to prison for not following health and safety law. Right. Ultimately, what do they want? Safe places of work. Yeah. They want people to be safe in the workplace, so they go around, make sure that people are implementing and following all legislation surrounding health and safety. If not, they will come round and all happy, smiley people they are. They kind of bounce in. Oh, morning, I'm HSE. Alright? Oh, really? They're like hover in with a cloak and a big sign next to them, ready to chop you down. So I'll give advice. Informal advice. Some will walk round and go, alright, cheers, favour. You see that socket there is falling off. Can someone just repair that while I'm in? That'll do. Nothing more said. Okay. So they can go around and go. And then you get a letter a couple of days later saying, this is what you need to work on. This is your formal advice. They can then give you an improvement notice. Improvement notice. They will say, for example, that socket there, it's a minor breach. Okay, I'm going to give you 21 days to make it good again. They'll come back and check that you've done it. Maybe not straight away, but they will come back and check. If it's more serious and they think someone's going to get harmed, they will issue a prohibition notice. This could be, don't use this desk, don't use that one, don't use that heater. It could be, don't use that room. Don't use that site. Everybody off site now is too dangerous. They can close you down like that. Ultimately, they can do this. They can take you to court. If there's serious breaches of health and safety legislation, and it's very dangerous, they can do that. Which would result in unlimited fines for the company or individuals, and or imprisonment. Maximum 2 years imprisonment for not following health and safety law. What they also do for your company, because your managers will love this, right? When they come in and they go, oh, now I found something. As soon as they find something, they start investigating. They will have a look around site, they will investigate as much as they can, they will take hours, they will go away, they will plan a case, they will come back, extra visits to make sure things are done. They charge you for this. It's called a fee for intervention. £129 per hour. Okay. If you didn't hear that, electrician, no, I don't get out of bed for that. So, it's going to cost your company money. And then, from their findings that you just paid for, they might take it to court and prosecute you. Alright? But you pay them to do it. So, be careful of these people. But don't be careful of them. They're there to give advice and guidance. They want a safe place to work. What you want to do is make sure you are compliant with everything in the workplace, so when they come round, it's not costing you any money. If they shut you down, it's delays. What do we say about delays? Now you might miss a deadline. You miss a deadline, you start getting penalties. If you miss penalties, not only do you get fines, miss deadlines and get penalties, not only is it financial, principal contractors might say, you know what, they're pants. Yeah, I'm not using them again. Now you've lost work. Right. I'm going to skip chapter 2. I'm going to come back to CDM in a second. Go straight to chapter 4 for me, please. Risk assessments. It starts on, if you turn to page 59 for me, please.
Which? Huh? We are there.
Sorry for the testing there.
Right, regarding risk assessments, we went through this process. Right. You know, some providers you work with, they've got great big boards all over the place. You've got loads of paper, stuff like that. Books. It's the only one I know that doesn't do it. Right. So, you can see the on the right hand side, principles of risk assessment, the risk assessment process. What did we do first in the risk assessment? What did we do?
Identify the hazard.
Well read. Identify the hazards, don't we? Alright, so walk around the workplace, have a look, speak to people, identify the hazards. Yeah, walk around the workplace, you can see a few there. Step 2, what do we do then? Look at who's going to be harmed by these hazards. Alright, how are they going to be harmed? So, groups of people, for example, people working in a storeroom or passers-by. Are they going to be harmed? For example, bricklayers may suffer back injuries from repeated lifting. New and young workers, cleaners, etc. So what we're looking at, step 2, who, how, it's in the book. Step 3, evaluate the risk. That's where we put scores on the likelihood, okay, the level of harm, multiply it together. And think, do we need to control that? Yes, we do. What controls are we going to put in place? So far as it's reasonably practicable. Okay. We look at best way of controlling it. Eliminate. We can't eliminate. Reduce the risk. Yeah. We might even put guards around things or prevent contact. We might have a list of instructions. Finally, we would have PPE. Okay. This is what is called a hierarchy of how you control risk. sure if you get asked this, but when you go into health and safety, you learn these top three of this hierarchy are what are called engineering controls. They're called that because that term engineering basically implies that the risk is controlled more by things that aren't human, more by machinery. Machinery is more reliant than we are. Okay? Why are we not very reliable? Yeah, and because we're idiots. We are. Right? We will get to like 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. If you're still on site, you go, yeah, I just need to do this job. Oh, do you know what? It's going to take me an extra 2 hours if I do it properly. It's Friday. Yeah, all right, bosh. I'm off. Someone else comes in Monday morning. That's not done right. The whole thing collapses on them. We do that. How many people's just gone to Tesco's? Yeah. Who used the crossing? Who just walked over the road? Take risks all the time, don't we? Machines don't. So that's what it means. The top three are what we call engineering controls. The bottom two are called admin controls. That just means they rely more on the human element for safety. PPE is at the very bottom. PPE is always the last resort. Why? Because it is 100% reliable on the person putting it on. Okay. Right. So, step 4. Once we've done all this, if a company employs more than 5 people, we have to write it down. All it is record. 5, periodically, we're going to review our risk assessments. When do you think we look at our risk assessments? Once we've established them, put them in place, when do you think we're going to look at them again?
When the job changes.
All right,
Every
so
time when we start the work, new work.
not necessarily every day, no. You're looking at it.
No, new job, new activity, if you can call it like this.
What, so every day you start the same activity, you look at your risk assessment?
New activity.
A new activity?
Yes.
Alright, so, yeah, well then you're starting a risk assessment, aren't you? Okay. What I mean, what's your name, sir?
It's Jimmy.
Dimmy. What I mean, Dimmy, is once you've done that, new activity, after risk assessing, you're quite right. When are we going to look at this risk assessment again?
Never.
I know someone said something.
You have to update them.
When something happens? Yeah. So, when something changes, when something happens, following an accident or an incident, or periodically,
Never.
if we think they're no longer in date. Now, some people say we'll just look at them annually. All the HSE say, if you think they're no longer valid, review them. Construction can change quite rapidly. Some principal contractors will insist you review your risk assessments every 3 months, okay, just to make sure they're still valid. Right. Sorry about that. What we can gather from this, an old question used to be, what are the principles behind risk assessments? What are we doing first? Yeah, identify. What do we do next? Evaluate, yeah? And in that evaluate, what are we doing with the risk? Oh, it's too high, we need to lower it, or control. So, an old question, but it's worth noting this. You think risk assessments, right, what is risk assessment? What's the principle? I've got to identify, I've got to evaluate the risk, and then I'm going to control it. My writing's getting worse as I get older. That looks like identity. But when the boards are there, because I'm going to start going down like that. Manual. Right. Okay. Turn to page 69, please.
69. 59.
What's at the top of page 69? Method statements. What are method statements? You don't have to read it. Where are they? Okay. Yeah, it's a list, isn't it, of how you carry out the job safely. How do they say it? It's a document that describes in a logical sequence exactly how a work activity is to be carried out in a manner that is safe and without risk to health. They won't fit all that in an answer. Alright, they'll probably summarise it. If you get asked that, you know what a method statement is, we've gone through it. In that safe system of work Greg was carrying out for Brad this morning. He had to assess, look for the hazards, evaluate, estimate, evaluate the risk, and put controls in place. And we said that list of how he's controlling the risk, that is your method statements. Okay, it's a list of how you are going to control the risk. What have you got next to that? The right hand side. Permit to work. Anyone heard of these?
Yeah.
Okay. What's a permit then? Where do you have a permit? What? Digging? Yeah.
Hot works.
What works?
Work at height.
Work at heights. Confined space. Anywhere where they think there's potentially very high dangers. Okay. It's in addition to your risk assessment. These permits to work are given out by competent, experienced people that have worked in that area. You have to go to them and say, oh, this is what we're looking at doing, and say, why, what are you doing, when you're going to be there, how long you're going to be there, what tools are you using, who's carrying it out, who's the competent person carrying out the work. Yeah, and you have to fill it all in. When you do all that and they're happy, they will sign it out to you. When you finish the job, they will have a look at it, make sure that there's no dangers, and then they'll sign the permit back in. Okay. The second paragraph on the permit to work describes it. Okay. Whilst there is no legal requirement to use a permit to work system, they are often used to regulate how potentially high risk activities, that's the key phrase, are to be carried out in a healthy and safe manner. So a permit to work, that's used for potentially high risk activities where extra controls might be necessary. Right. Now we can flick back to, back going forwards and backwards. We're going to go to chapter 3. Chapter 3, and that is, I want to start on page 46, just have a look at this.
So it's good to know when to do that, you know.
46, got it? Right.
Okay.
This is under a chapter called Health and Safety Management Systems. Right, some people get put off by this. I've got to be totally honest with you, I don't think it should be. Last year it wasn't in the SSSTS course. Why they put it in, I don't know. Right. They learn about it in there, they have to, because they manage the site. Right. Health and Safety Management System. System. Okay, something that's in place. Management system. Something that's it's a system that's going to help us manage something. What are we hoping to manage? Our health and safety. Why do we need to manage health and safety? Right. Well, to eliminate, to control,
Improve.
To improve. We need to know how well it's being managed. If we don't manage it well, what happens?
Excellent.
Oh, it all goes bandy, doesn't it? All right. Accidents, ill health, people are off work. People start putting claims in, insurance company pays out, they start putting insurance premiums up. Okay. We don't meet targets, clients get unhappy, they start telling people how bad we are as a company, so all of a sudden we lose a lot of work. Now we have to lay people off. Before you know it, inside 6 months, the director's now back on the tools because the company's gone bankrupt. So we need to make sure, or the company, they, directors and managers need to make sure that the health and safety is being managed well on site. Right, consider this question. Eleanor, how many accidents have you had at your site? One. In how long? Last 12 months?
1 year.
1 year. That's not bad. Sebastian?
None.
None. Okay, right. So you've had one, right? You've had none. Right? Who manages their health and safety better out of these two?
Probably, yeah.
Why?
Okay, how many you got on site?
How many?
How many people working on site?
16.
16?
16.
Roughly the same.
Okay. We still don't know, do we? What else can we look at? Right. What I'm making is, just because you get no accidents, Seb, can you guarantee that all the hazards around your site are being managed well? They're being controlled?
To the best of my knowledge.
There's no microphones, no. Your Honour. Right. Do you know yours are being managed? Look, accidents can happen, even if you manage it well. Alright? The point is, you need to keep an eye, or managers need to keep an eye on all hazards and make sure they're being managed well. If not, the chances of you having accidents or incidents like near misses are increased. And you don't want that, because I've just talked about what the negative aspect is of not having health and safety in place. So we have a system that helps us check on this, to check that everything's being managed well in terms of health and safety. Right. This is the 4 elements. You can see this in the book, all right? It starts here, number 1, plan. 2. Check. Act. So, this is what a company does. And I'm going to keep this brief because it shouldn't really be in this course. That you will have to fit into this. You will play a part in this. Company is going to plan for health and safety. They're going to say things like, right, actually, what's your company called, Sebastian?
Horizon Facades. Horizon Facades.
Horizon Facades. Right. I heard on the grapevine, they're brilliant at health and safety. You might even contact him and go, bless you, can you just have a look at your health and safety syndrome? Really good. HSE might even go, no accidents. Yeah, right. Yeah. But we're going and have a look. Alright, because that looks really good practice. So you see companies operating like this and go, you know what, we might get to right hand they do that, we might approve it as an ACO. They might do it for other companies. So a company's going, right, we've got 6 accidents in the last year. We're going to plan to look after health and safety better. We're going to give ourselves 12 months in order to get this down. We're going to get people in. We're going to get competent people in to look after different things. We're going to train our staff up. We're going to do all this. We're going to get great risk assessments and control measures done. All right? We're going to plan to do all this. We're giving ourselves a year and we might need to spend some more money. Then they put it in place. What they're planning to do, they put in place. So they get the people recruited. They get the staff trained up in health and safety. People go around doing risk assessments, putting control measures in place. And what they do is they check periodically, they will monitor certain things to keep an eye on how well these hazards or these health and safety issues are being managed. Because if they don't, people might be getting accident, might be getting hurt, or build health issues. How can we check if it's being managed well? What sort of things can we do as supervisors? What are you going to look for to make sure health and safety is being followed in the workplace?
Daily check sheets.
Daily check sheets. Are people checking tools? If they're not checking tools, what might it tell you about the tools?
They're probably not.
They might not be working properly. They might be damaged. What might that tell you? If all the tools are damaged, someone might get hurt using these tools. Okay. You might then look at following on from that. Ben, sure. Ben, right. Why are you using a damaged tool? And you'll tell me. Make anything out. I was told to. How you, Martin? Oh, shot me in the foot. He might say, oh, I didn't realise it was damaged. I always used it like this. Or I've just been told to get on with it. But do you not know we replace damaged tools? No, no one told me. Alright, I've got a training issue there. I might then go and look at training records. How many of my staff are trained up? How many have had health and safety training? How many have manual handling training? How many are trained on 3-ton dump trucks? I've got 8 of them running around site. I might check that all them trained up. One of them's trained up in a dump truck. Why have I got 7 drivers driving around not trained? That's a high percentage of not trained. Can't prove they're competent. There might be an incident with that. So this is kind of, I'd say another thing you can do is, do you know what? You've been quiet all morning behind it. Electrician.
Yeah.
Remember that. Alright, what's your name?
Livio.
Livio.
Yeah.
Where's that from? Nice name. Where's it from?
Romania.
Romania, Livio. I had to do a course once. One day health and safety course for 6 Romanians. Didn't speak a word of English. Alright. However, I got a translator in. Well, the company did. She was brilliant. I was picking up on some words. What I didn't realise, me being naive, the closest language to Romanian is Italian.
Yeah, I know.
My son speaks Italian, so I was listening to certain things and went, hang on. I thought it was more like the Eastern European.
It's Latin.
Anyway, what was I telling you? What was I saying before
Checking
that?
safety records. Checking training records.
No, so, Livio, I'm going to say to you, right, today, I'm going to watch you do your work. Yeah. And you go, oh yeah, brilliant. Thanks for that. Right. I'm going to get electricity and work regulations. I'm going to get my safe system of work. I'm going to get my RAMs that you're following. And I'm going to stand here and watch your work, see if you do it to the letter. If he knows I'm watching him, what's he going to do? He's going to do it.
Yeah.
So I might go, thanks for that. I'll go away. Next week I might go, I'm going to tell him today. Oh, look at that. Now he doesn't do it as per the RAMs. Now you can do this as well, because this is telling you in your check, people aren't following your safe systems of work. If they're not following it, there's potential for what? Accidents or ill health. Then you can pull him up afterwards and say, why didn't you follow that? Yeah, because I didn't know you were watching me. So you know there's a culture of, if you aren't there as a supervisor, people aren't following your procedures. If they're not following procedures, they might just be getting away with not being harmed by these hazards. So you can do all this. You can do all this before anything happens. Okay? You might want to call this, in this section, proactive monitoring.
We've been on a lot of people's safe start in the morning now, so
Yeah.
the supervisor will come down with a, like the M&E company we work for will come
Yeah.
down and he'll give us what's going on that day and just reiterate the minutes of the head for.
Yeah.
Basically that happens every morning for about 15 minutes before we need to start work.
You get into a habit, okay? You get into a habit of doing these checks. You get into a habit of working as per the systems. Okay? It's not, I don't want to call it a habit, I want to call it a culture. Okay? And the companies that have fewer accidents have got everybody involved and a great culture towards health and safety. So, Sebastian gets 0 accidents. Is that over a year?
Yeah.
Who's going to
Zero
say that
is-
last week?
That was a phone.
0 riddle in the last 3 years.
0 riddles?
Yeah.
No over 7-day injuries?
No.
There's a bit
No.
of hesitancy there.
No, it's not. It's not that big an organisation.
Or none of them being recorded.
Right, we'll talk about riddle later on, we might come back to that. HSC, when they look at a company and go, can I look at your accident book, look at your accident book and go, it's strange how you've had this and there's no riddles. I'm not saying it's in your company, but in some companies they don't. Because you're quite right, you mean they don't record things. Anyway, we just talked about accidents. So, 1 accident, 0 accident. How many people have been ill in your place? Right.
Only one.
Just 1. So, okay. Let's say none again. Right? This could be reactive monitoring. Before anything happens, watching round, trying to preempt things, looking if people are following the systems, it's called proactive monitoring. If I can record the number of accidents, the number of near misses, lost time incidents, unsafe acts, cases of ill health and absences, it's already happened. But it's still information that can tell me how well health and safety is being managed. Right, you find you got one accident, what happened, Ellen? I did that, alright. Broke that thumb, 23rd of July this year. I sprained that one, I broke the second toe in that foot, and I broke the second toe in that foot, just underneath the ball of the foot. Okay? I'm only here today because I am hard as nails northern. All these southerners would have been off for weeks. Alright? Ask me how I did it, you'd never guess.
Feeling potatoes.
Yes, but no. How did I break a thumb, sprain another, and break 2 toes?
Bike?
No.
You must have dropped something.
Slipping.
Fell off or step.
Good. Jump over fence?
I'll tell you. Surfing. Who would have thought surfing was so dangerous? Anyone surf? Well, I don't, clearly. My missus took me down to, it was my birthday on 23rd of July. She took me down for a long weekend in Newquay. And while we were there, last year, my lad who's really active, he had a week away with school and he says, "Oh, Dad, we've done surfing before, can I do it down here now?" And I went, "Oh, really? I've done it 18 years ago in Australia. I am rubbish at it." Okay, so I went, "Look, you do it." He went, "Oh, you come and do it with me, Dad." I went, "Oh, really?" Anyway, so we booked it. It was only me and him having a lesson. Pants. Alright, the board flipped me over. As it flipped over, both my feet went dunk straight into the sand. Like that. And I stood up and I was like, "Oh," felt then. I had a 2-hour lesson, came out of the cold water, looked down at my feet. This toe was black. And this one was white, but just behind, it had already started swelling up. And I was like, "Alright then." This thumb was twice the size of this one. This was all black there. And I was like, "How has that happened?" And do you know the worst thing? Conditions were described as flat. I got barely one wave that was like that big. Embarrassing. Anyway, back to this. Right. So, when we get all this information in, right, so how many people are wearing PPE correctly? How many people are following instructions? How many accidents have we had? Proactive or reactive, alright, so 2 types of monitoring to let us know how well it's being managed. If it's not being managed well, what I just said, I'd say to Ben, "Why are you not swapping that tool? I didn't know." Okay, right, I'll educate you. What I'm doing is I'm active, I'm putting things in place to improve what might not be right with this system. Okay, I might plan for when I'm going to do the training, I might plan to make sure everyone else is going, then I'm going to carry it out, and I'm going to check that that's worked. There's got arrows going this way, like you've got in the book. If I carry on doing this with all hazards, with all systems, it will improve the health and safety. Right, people get put off by this health and safety management system. Who plays any sport? Nobody? Yes, both. What do you do, Sebastian?
Tennis.
Tennis?
Basketball.
Basketball. I used to play a bit of basketball. Right. You any good? Are you being modest? You any good, sir?
Used to be. Used to be.
Used to
Getting
be.
old now.
Okay, alright, so used to be. I'm getting old now. So what you're telling is you're not as good as you used to be.
Yes.
Why not? You're saying it's age.
Age, fitness.
Alright, your fitness has dropped. Why has your fitness dropped?
Because of the age. The speed is dropped.
Okay. So what you're doing is measuring. Okay. We do this in everything we do. You don't realise it. We have this management system in life for everything we do. Okay. How was your last game of tennis?
Sorry?
How was your last game of tennis?
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you win?
It was close, we didn't finish.
Or was it like an Isner? A Boots game, was it? Or 60,
Someone's
70,
dropped down.
68 in the final set or something?
It was
got a time limit?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, okay. So what you might do before the game is, well, I'll tell you what, I had a golf competition once. This is how it sums this up. I was playing an old boy, 68 years old, took it very lightly. Had a few beers the night before, got up the next morning, went, right, oh, where's my shoes, golf kit, right, bag out to the car, doesn't fit sideways, take the woods out, put them there, bag in, shoo, drive off. Right, lots of traffic, got to the golf club, about 5 minutes to spare. Didn't have time for breakfast, didn't have time for a warm up, went to the first tee, got everything there, teed off, right, yeah, that's alright, played that hole, get on to the next one, par 4, right, need the driver. Left against the garage door, yeah, because I was rushing that morning. Anyway, right, the old boy beat me, yeah, because I was an idiot. So, afterwards, I was like, how did he beat me? Right, well, because you're an idiot. You had too many beers the night before. Bad preparation. You got up a bit late. You didn't have your kit already in the car planned. Okay. That's kind of like round here. Alright? Where was that? Right? What do I need to improve? Well, next time, I won't have beer. I'll get up early. I'll be prepared. I'll get to the club. I'll have breakfast there. I'll warm up. Okay. Make sure I've got all the kit I need. Alright? Put that into place. Play the game. Check. How did I get on? I did all that. Still lost the next game. I'm doing on it. I continually improved. At least I had all the clubs. I was there in plenty of time. Wasn't rushing, wasn't stressed. Then I might say, you know what, I lost because I was pulling the ball left. Why am I doing that? Well, I'm not really sure. I might go out and listen. Okay. He'll sort that out. I'll then plan to put that back into the game. What I learned in the lesson. I'll then play another game. I'll then look at the score after that. I might make changes or maintain improvements. This is what we do in everything. We do it at work to maintain our health and safety. Right. Be aware of these. Plan, do, check, act. The 4 main parts of it. Be aware of these. Proactive, reactive. Okay. Common questions that they might ask you near the end. Asking for 3 points. Alright. Sometimes they can go, that's given. What are the other 3? Or you've got that. What are the other 3? Remember that cycle. Okay. Right, on the page 48, it talks about health and safety policy. What is your health and safety policy? You know, has anyone seen the policy? I wouldn't expect anyone as workers or supervisors to see the health and safety policy. Again, put them in there. Health and safety policy. Do you know what's in it? Have you seen it?
Is that something that you drew up specifically for your business?
It's for the business, alright? This is what's in the health and safety policy.
It's not like that. That's just a general.
No, that is just
Yeah.
health and safety poster. You've got to display that. It gives the duties of employees. It talks about the Health and Safety Work Act, which is the main piece of legislation for health and safety in the workplace in the UK. Right, health and safety policy. When you go to work, what do you want from your employer? Money's the main thing, alright? If you can't work, you can't get any money, so what do you want? You want this safe place to work. Yeah, you want it free from health hazards, don't you? Yeah, you want to stay fit and able to work to get this money. By law, they've got to do all that. What they will write is, they will have, first thing is a statement. It's roughly right. They have a statement of intent. That is not only what they are hoping to do and achieve in terms of health and safety, but it's showing a commitment from the most highest level of management. Might even be the CEO. CEO generally signs the health and safety policy to say, we are committed to providing a good level of health and safety throughout the company. So this is what the company is going to do in terms of health and safety. The second part they'll have is organisation. That is who within the organisation is going to carry out what part of health and safety. Finally, this is a big section, probably 100 plus pages. Arrangements. That is how these people are going to carry out the different parts of health and safety.
Why is it only if you're in point 1 and 5
What?
that you have to do certain things within health and safety? Why do the people who employ less than 5 matter? Not matter.
It's,
As in,
it's not, you don't have to do it,
Well,
you
yeah,
have to record it.
yeah, but why?
Probably down to a cost issue.
So it's still risks are still there.
No, you still have to do all the health and safety, you still
Yeah,
have to have a
but you don't
policy,
record it.
you still have to carry out risk assessments, you don't legally have to record it. However, for people who employ less than 5 people, if it's your company, if you don't record your risk assessments, you're a complete idiot. Alright? Let's go to call, alright? I'm the employee, well no, Greg, Brad, employer, employee. You only employ 3 lads, so there's 4 of you in the company. I'll be the judge, I'll be the wig. Okay? Right, civil court, you've been injured, you're taking Greg to court because he's not looked after you. Okay? Right, you've got to defend yourself. How are you going to defend yourself? How are you going to tell me you protected him?
Without any risk assessments, make mistakes, there is no way.
Well, all you're going to say is, yeah, do you remember we sat down, Brad? First morning you were there, I give you a little induction. I said, this is how we do things. This is how you stay safe. Do you remember that? What's he going to say? No. I've told about it. He's never told me about health and safety. And you go, you lying little son. No, we sat down, we talked about it. You go. And he's like, wheeled in this body cast for a broken nail. All right? No, you know, elaborating on his injuries. I'm going to look at him and go, well, he's pretty battered. Probably, I'll go with the balance of probability is that you didn't tell him anything because he's injured. You've got no proof. It's proof that you've told people. You got sweets? Yeah, I'll get rid of it. Don't do that, I'll have it. Okay. So you've got the policy, you've still got to carry risk assessments. 5 or more people, it must be recorded, but it's good practice. Look, if you're going to start your own company, employ less than 5, still write everything down or get someone to write it down for you. Then you have proof. If there's anything that goes wrong, you've got proof that you were covered.
So does a risk assessment or method statement have to be reviewed by someone before it's issued, before other people can sign it, or is it just literally saying
you can do it.
you can write it down?
You write it yourself, show them it.
Yeah.
You're the competent person. You remember one of the slides said, you must have competent advice. If you're not competent carrying out a risk assessment, what do? You pay someone to come in and do it.
The person who's doing the work has to sign it. Yeah.
Oh, they put the name on it and sign it. Yeah. But if you're paying someone to do it and it's not right, you go back to them and go, well, they got injured because your risk assessment. So you've got to come back that way. All right. You just got to make sure. Ultimately, you're responsible. You've got to make sure they're competent. So you check out the company that's going to do the risk assessments. Right. Flick then to leadership and management, 73. And then turn over to page 74. Right, page 74. At the top, an essential part of health and safety management is the two-way communication process between employers and employees. There are legal duties on both parties with the intent that communication takes place in both directions. Okay? Right, it's important. I mentioned this word earlier on, culture, habit, right? Culture towards health and safety. Right, when I was asking earlier on, what's your view on it? Yeah, it's rubbish. No, it's time wasted. It's restrictive. That's what we mean by culture. People either adhere, go along with the health and safety rules, that's a positive culture. People report things that are not safe, that's a positive culture. The negative side of it is people don't really care. They don't look after themselves or anyone else, they don't report anything, that's negative. What you want to help you manage your health and safety is people telling you, helping you, let you know if it's working well or not. Okay? You must engage the workers. You must try and encourage a positive culture. The way you do that is effective two-way communication. Okay? Can you imagine if I'd come in this morning and gone, right, listen, sit down, no books, listen to this. Write down, watch that, listen to this video. Right, thanks. Come back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Question. No, not talking. It's me doing all the talking. Right, finish for today, I'm off, see you later. Come back in tomorrow, do the same, and go, right, there's a quiz. What's that going to be like? That's not allowing any communication from you, is it? It's me telling you, that's one way. Okay? If you come in and all you lot were talking and I didn't talk, so it's one way from you, I'd be like, I wouldn't really get a word in. Okay? So it's this effective two-way communication. Right, when I first started in construction,
1952? 1952?
well, we know one person who's not passing, don't we? not too far off. Right. Certain words I could call it. I've got to restrain yourself. I'm being professional. Right. You were told to do a job, and if you went, ooh, I'm not sure about that, I've never been trained in that. Why are you standing there with your thumb up your backside? Get on and do it. Get on and do it, and sometimes it was smack, do it. Oh, right, okay. Right, and do it. Yes. Get a bandage on it, get some tape on it. Carry on, and that's what happened. Now, we do this risk assessment, don't we? We then go, there you are, lads, read it. Sit yourself down, cocoa, slippers. If you're alright with it, sign it. If not, please tell me what's wrong. Okay? And you're entitled to say, listen boss, done this before like that. Do you remember we had a couple of incidents? It's allowing people to talk back. Yeah. Why? Because he's going to benefit health and safety for the company in the long run. The plan, do, check, act. When you're checking it, if you get feedback from your workers, the people you are supervising, they might say, listen, you know that rounds you've given us yesterday, we can't follow that because of the nature of the machine we've got. You go, oh really? Right, let me come out and have a look. If you didn't have that communication, they might carry on, either damage the facades, yeah, damage the equipment, injure people. Okay, so it's allowing this two-way communication. There's laws in place now, consultation with employees regulations. You must communicate. How do we communicate information out to the workers? Workers reps, notice boards, toolbox talks, daily briefings, okay, hazard board, suggestion boxes, I think someone says. You call it all kinds of things, safety games, things like this. You allow people to put information in. You look at it and then go, yeah, brilliant. Then you get back to it. Have you ever seen the sites? The really good sites have, at the end of the month, this is what you reported to us, this is how we acted on it. You seen that?
Yeah, a lot of big sites do that now.
Yeah. What does it make the workers feel like? You have to make that. Do you get incentivised? Do you get incentives for reporting things on sites? Green cards, yellow cards, red cards. Right. Great idea, isn't it?
Safety award every month on site I'm on, you get like £100 savings voucher.
How do you get £100 voucher?
By following good health and safety. And
Right.
reporting stuff.
Right. But what do you have to do to get this £100? Don't be embarrassed. All the electricians do it.
I'm looking at getting it next month though.
So, how have you managed to get it, Rick?
I'm,
But how do people get it? What do they do?
I was just following the good health and safety and reporting my idea misses and things like that,
So-
reporting stuff and.
Right, so people reporting stuff. How much of it's genuine?
They make it kind of
It's a great idea, but you need to control it as a supervisor. Okay? My mate works for Balfour Beatty. He's a site manager, and what he said, he's in charge of it. He says he gives 50 quid vouchers every month, high street vouchers. He says, as soon as I mentioned it, loads of reports come in. This is happening, that's happening. A lot of people going, Ben's been doing this. Right? Ben's been doing this. All right, is that a fact? Right. You had to put your name on these chits. So he went, I know how he works, he wouldn't do that. So whoever's put it in, he got them in the room together. I went, that you? Yeah. What's he been doing again? He goes, oh. Oh, sorry mate, I was only trying to get the vouchers. So what he then said is, well, you can't be putting for the vouchers this month, alright? You can't. He's separate, and he soon ironed out all these false reports going in. Okay? You just got to be careful. It's a great idea incentivising it. Okay? Some sites punish it as well. Some sites get. There's one site I went to. I was looking at the near misses, and I went, "Gosh, you've got a lot of near misses." And they went, "Yeah, well, that's because we require 3 from every worker each week." I went, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you have to come around every Friday. They'll be like, sorry, no, say that again. Bartosz. Okay. Bartosz, where's your 3 near misses this week?" And you go, "Well, I haven't seen anything." "I don't care. I need 3 chits in from you. I want 3 near misses." Why do they do that? Because they can show the world all that's happening on our side. Look at how we've corrected things. They don't have to do anything. They're just doing things on a computer. So it's totally wrong. What you want is the genuine records, a genuine staff going, "Boss, this isn't right. Thanks for that, I'll act on it." It's this effective two-way communication that allows that to take place. The overall benefit of that is you get better managed health and safety. You get more sites with 0 accidents. It might be a case of you've got a lot of reports coming in, Sebastian, about certain things on site, so it gets acted on. That's why people don't get accidents. Okay. With this communication, can you see on page 75? It's got communication there. Can you see just above it, there's a few ticks? Yeah? Best way to protect the business reputation of the workforce is to involve them. Get the workforce to talk to each other. You can help improve the culture, you can help improve working methods around the site by getting workers to talk to each other, particularly sharing experiences about health and safety. What I mean by that is not going back and going, "Oh, I tell you what, I had a great course at the weekend. The bloke was amazing who was delivering it." I don't mean that. I mean, when you're coming to do a job, you might go, "Well, why are you doing it like that, mate? Right, let's have a look at your RAMs. All right, I'm still staying within the RAMs, but I've done this before, I did it like this." It's still complying with it. It makes it safer for you. Talk about sharing experiences of good health and safety practice. If we did that with each other, everyone would be improving health and safety. It might be a case of someone does it and then comes back to the supervisor, you, and go, "Actually, there's a different way of doing this. I think it's better. You change your RAMs." All right. Okay, turn over onto 77. Now we just mentioned worker involvement. See at the top, benefits of worker involvement. Aside from meeting their legal duty to consult and communicate, workplaces where employees are involved in taking decisions about health and safety are safer and healthier. Employees influence health and safety through their own actions. They are often the best people to understand the risks in their workplace. Engaging the workforce has proven to have major benefits in the workplace for all involved. So you're sent out by your manager to do a risk assessment, and it's to do it with a particular task you might not have done very much before. Okay? Who's the best people to speak to about the hazards involved in this work? People that have done it before. The people that are actually carrying it out or doing it before, the workers. Alright? I've got qualifications, I've got experience, alright, I spend a lot of time teaching, it's very rare, I go to a site these days. So I might go to a site and I'll go, oh, what's that? It's like this new vacuum thing, I can't remember what it's called. Right? Certain things I'll see and I'll go, oh, I've not seen that before. Really? It's been out about a year. And I go, yeah, don't get a chance to get on site much. Okay? So I come round and do risk assessments anyway. If I'm not sure, what I might do is go to worker and go, what are you using there? What's that called? Is there any way that can hurt you? And they might go, yeah, I did it to a bloke last week. Alright. Has it happened before that? Nah, alright, so it's happened once. How long have you had that machine? I've had it about 18 months. So it's happened once in 18 months. That's telling me it's not very likely to happen. What happened? Well, I think he bruised or broke a finger. Alright, so I'm kind of judging the level of harm. It's helping me write it. I'm getting this person involved. Alright? If he's involved in this process, he gets to look at what a risk assessment is, what the RAMs are. And he's like, oh, maybe it's not all about this health and safety, it's there to look after me. Plus, this is where you've got your workers over a barrel. If you're asking their input to help you write risk assessment method statements, why would they not follow it? If they write it, if they give you all the information, you go, thanks for that, that's brilliant, I'll put that down in writing. Why would they not follow it? They're telling you their best way of doing it. So later on when you go, oh, Diddler, come here, why are you not following this? And you go, I don't know. Well, you wrote it. Just got them over a barrel then. But I don't want to use that terminology, it's negative culture. Alright? But what you find is, if people are helping you write or suggest good health and safety practice, why wouldn't they follow it? Right. What you might want to remember when we talk about benefits of worker involvement. Let's say these people next door, right, we're in the tea room one morning, they then come in and go, right, we've got a new practice, we're going to change something now. What's the best way of trying to achieve that throughout the workforce? Communication. Alright, so communication. So rather than just come in and go, this is what we're doing, what do they want to do? They might suggest a way forward, and then come in and go, right, sit down a minute, toolbox talk, we're going to tell you about this, and then we want your feedback afterwards. So they'll explain what they're thinking of doing. Then they go, right, what do you lot think? What they are doing is this two-way communication.
Rather than enforcing it.
Rather than just enforcing it, Greg, because what does that do? People go, gets their back up straight away. I've been promoted, have you heard that phrase, get your back up? No? No? Right, when you get someone's back up, like, it makes them angry really quickly. That's what it means. So if a manager comes in and says, right, we're doing it like this, and then leaves, what? You can't do that. A more effective way of achieving this is to come in and go, sit down, let's talk about this. This is the idea we've got. What's your suggestions? Yeah, alright, yeah, take that on board. Alright, so what about if we do it this way? Happy? Brilliant. Both parties are happy then. So if they want to implement new systems, you want to remember this, if they want to implement new systems, a good way of achieving it is to then consult and ask for feedback. Yeah? Right, what time is anybody? 2 o'clock? Well, that's 90 minutes, isn't it? Let's have a cup of tea. Or coffee. Or whatever you want. Right, 10 minutes. I'm starting back. 2, 3. Starting back at 10 past.